Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing great. It's a holiday weekend, so hope everyone got some rest and saw some family, had some nice food. So let's get into it. Today I want to go over the YieldMax ETFs, and I kind of wanted to rank them to see which ones are winners and which one are sinners. So keep in mind this there's a little bit of like subjectivity into this. And I hope in future versions I can make it a little bit more objective. I want to make it more quantitative in the future. So keep that in mind. So there's quite a few yield back ETFs. And I know already about the AIYY, but it was too new to include in this version. So let's take a look. Um, I think the first thing to keep in mind, just because I put something in C and D, it doesn't mean it's like bad. I think it's just more like kind of eh. It's not great, but it's not like terrible either. Because any one of these, of if you put it up against like any dividend ETF, like it'll just like wipe the floor with them in terms of return. So keep that in mind. It's just because like the YieldMax products are so like they're so out there that like almost all like dividend ETFs and like just like normal dividend stocks, like it's just in terms of return. There's no comparison, but within like the own like ETF like universe of YieldMax, there's only one that stands like head and shoulders above everybody else right now, and that's Coney. But all of this stuff can be subject to change in the future. Um, you know, some things will move up and then some things will move down. But as of right now, wow, like Coney I think they're in the right place at the right time. Crypto is really taking off, especially Bitcoin, in the expectations of a Bitcoin ETF. So I don't know how long Coney will be able to hold this top spot, but for now, enjoy like the capital appreciation and also both just good option premium return in the forms of dividend. So the next one on the list was a surprise. I didn't think AMDY would perform so well in its first month, but here we are. So hopefully they'll be able to kind of keep their spot. The same thing with NVDY. Um, Originally, I wanted to put this closer to the top, but I think uh, I think it's also unfortunate timing after like their earnings release. People, I think they probably wanted more. I guess people are afraid of like the chips that are designed specifically for China isn't off to like a great start. But who knows? Like things can change. And here's where things get a little ugly. I think in hindsight, I kind of maybe wanted to spread more of some of these guys up into like the B list. Of like for example, like I could definitely make a case for like the Netflix one to kind of be up here. And then there's also like, well, how come you're putting like Tesla so far up? Despite like the crappy like price action. Um, th- and then I'll show you that in a little bit. But there's also you have to take into account like liquidity. In another video, I mentioned that Tesla has started. Well, at least for like Schwab customers, you can borrow against the shares. So that was a plus. Originally, it was kind of like, do I want to put it in C or D? And just because of that, like the liquidity, I'm willing to bump it up. And don't forget, after like the Cybertruck release, like in the next edition, like this could easily go to B or A, even, depending on how well the market um, takes to the news. And just as like a side note, I'm actually seeing more Teslas on the road. I don't know if it's just a coincidence or not, or maybe people have like holiday bonuses and they're just putting into like Tesla cars, but it's just a observation. So, and as I mentioned before, like D doesn't mean it's like totally trash. Of course, there's like room for improvement. But any one of these, um, even with like the ARC shares, Apple, like Google, Microsoft, like the returns haven't been like that exciting. But again, this could easily change if like people start getting into like the AI narrative again, and like some of these could bump up again. JP Morgan and Exxon Mobil, these are kind of boring, but maybe, these are probably situational. If like let's say like the economy improves and if people start borrowing more, JP Morgan can move up. All it takes for for oil to go up is maybe like some type of political shock or like a war. So this could easily go up as well. Square, it the return wasn't bad. I think um, once there's more liquidity and we have more, I guess like cycles of returns to analyze, I can also see this like kind of going up too. Unfortunately for Moderna, I think they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Uh, the returns probably won't be as good as like in the past. Like if it was like 2 years ago, I guess like when people want like vaccines and stuff, um, this this probably could have been better. But as of right now, the liquidity is bad. The returns probably won't be so good. So this is like the hopefully the only one that's gonna stink up the bottom here. And then just to like kind of show you, like I'm not pulling like numbers out of nowhere. Basically what I did was I took like the latest report for the dividends. I just plotted them in a spreadsheet. Um, I got like the average returns, and then I also did like the average. I mean, not the average, but like the standard deviation of these returns. But keep in mind, like the less history, the more sus, kind of like these standard deviation because it's only like 2 months, so it's not that much room for movement. So I expect like some of these will be I guess more accurate over time. And the reason why I just wanted to show you standard deviation is also because like you don't want like 1 month to be like you get $1 and then like the next month you get like 10 cents. Like that's not good. So the way to think about this is like the higher the average return, obviously the better. And then like the standard deviation, ideally you want this number to be as low as possible. So remember when I mentioned like Netflix, why even though it's like in like a so-called like C tier, it's still pretty good. Considering that the dividend is like isn't eye popping compared to like everybody else, but it's not bad. It's kind of I think the issue is just kind of in the middle. But like the standard deviation since it's relatively low, I mean it's only 3 months, so again like I think like the accuracy will be better. It'll be interesting to see how they hold up in the future, but it's not too bad. Like even like a something like a C tier isn't really bad at all. Like 46 cents per share. And it, again, once we get like more months, I think like some of these returns and like the overall risk return profile, uh, will give us like more like a better information for like the tier list as they go along. So again, as I mentioned before, Square at 44 cents is not too far off from Netflix. So again, I can easily see this go up, but like unfortunately right now. Um, there's no, because it's only 1 month, so you can't do a standard deviation. So, well, unless you want to do it over like the price action, over the actual days instead of the months, um, but that might be a little too crazy for me. So, if any of you guys want to take a stab at it, go feel free. Um, and if you do, actually let me know in the comments so I can credit you too. So. And then also like one of the other factors that I wanted to kind of bring in is like also volume because like for example as I mentioned before, let's say like you bought a whole bunch of shares of Moderna. Let's just say like for argument that you happen to make money, like you have like 1,000 shares or something like that, right? But then look over here, like I know it's the holidays and the volume has decreased, but imagine you had like a nice profit and then you're trying to get out, but there's only like not even 3,000 shares traded, you're gonna have a hard time like getting out, because you don't want like your own trade to kind of affect like the market makers. They're like, oh wait, there's only like 3,000 shares traded, so if this guy wants to trade 1,000, we can kind of ding him on the price as it goes out. So it's this is why you can't just look at the surface level like returns. You also have to take into account, at some point you're gonna want to exit. So and that's the reason why like Tesla is a little bit higher than it probably normally would be because as of right now, it's the best yield max in terms of volume. And I'm kind of sorry, like I put like some of these other high yield ETFs in there because like, this is just like my own personal watch list. But I'm also curious to how these other guys eventually, if I want to make a like another tier list, but including maybe like the Defiance guys and Neos and some of these other guys, this will like play a consideration uh, in my thinking. So just in general, I would like to see like these guys like get like 250 million shares traded. Because even like at 250,000 shares, it's still kind of low. But this just goes to show you like how I guess like we're relatively early, so we're fairly lucky. So don't get unhappy like if like maybe like the share prices aren't like as you hoped. Liquidity plays a big role too in these things. So there's still a chance like things could definitely improve, especially with Tesla. So hang in there, guys. But I would say like to in general, I have a bad feeling that YieldMax ETFs like the at some point, I think like the you know, unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, we're early. So as more and more people like find out, the good thing is like there'll be more liquidity, so it'll be easier to both buy and then also to sell. So that would be one positive aspect. But then like I don't know if like the managers will be able to handle like all the volume like at once. So ideally, I want to see like volume increase, but like gradually over time. This way, like the managers get used to it, and this way they're not like slinging money carelessly. But that's a subject for like another video. So just as a takeaway, don't get too angry if like your ETF wasn't scored as high as you'd hope. But remember, this is just my opinion, and as I mentioned before, even C and D tier uh, ETFs, they're still pretty good. So and again, and everybody has like different goals and preferences. And then there's definitely like room for improvement. So like if you want to see maybe like another criteria added, just feel free to let me know. And I'll see like how I can make this more like quantitative and more objective. So definitely let me know. And just in general, again, please like and subscribe. Thank you everyone that's taken the time to comment. Your subscription means a lot to me, and I hope to see you guys later. Hope you guys make some good money, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.